Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Nublado, and just to get started, I'm doing a voiceover for this, so whatever you're seeing on the video is not what I'm actually saying, but just to give an introduction, I'm going to be showing off my vinyl collection. It's going to be starting out with the numbers, and then we're going to be going in through it alphabetically. So for this video, we're going to be doing it through numbers and stopping at the letter D, since I got like a bunch of records in my collection, alright? So yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be getting into for right now. So we're going to get into the first record. Alright, the first record we got is Modus Vivendi by 070 Shake. Now this record came out in 2020, and this is one of those records that would have made my top 10 of 2020 list, but I didn't get a chance to listen to it at the time, and I was just commenting on the hype sticker that I put on there. I like to keep those on the outer sleeves instead of the inner sleeves because I don't want the cover to get damaged at all, so I just keep those on the protective sleeves. And I'm just showing the album art here. The sleeves got a picture of Shake on there. I wish they would have done like 2 different artworks there, but what's there is fine. And I'm just showing the tracks here. Favorite tracks from there, probably Microdosing, Rocket Ship, Under the Moon, and other tracks too. And the vinyl is a marbled orange, and unfortunately it's really hard to see the marble on there, but in person it's a little bit more visible, but even so I'm still pretty disappointed on how like you can barely even see it, to be honest, but you know, what can you do? And yeah, I also got this off Discogs, just so y'all know. Alright, next one we got is Savage Mode 2 by 21 Savage and Metro Boomin. Another 2020 project, and this did make it onto my list, so that was good to see, and really like what they did on this project. Got some dark trap by Metro Boomin, and then 21 Savage gives his, you know, standard aggressive in your face delivery, also pretty monotone too, but him on Metro's beats sounds really good. It's just a good combination overall, and really like what they did on this record along with Savage Mode 1. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good project. This one's a 1 LP, and I'm about to take out the record right now, and as y'all can see, that's translucent red. Pretty nice. And surprisingly, Amazon got this to me, which I was pretty skeptical about because I've heard some Amazon horror stories, but yeah, Amazon did me well with this record, so I'm not even mad. Alright, next project's gonna be Limbo by Aminé. This is also from 2020, and he's from Woodlawn, Portland, Oregon. And when I first heard about him, it was on his single Caroline, which is a real hard single. But other than that, I didn't really check out much of his other work. But yeah, it's a really solid project from 2020, and this is another one that made my top albums of 2020 list. My favorite track from this is definitely Fetus with Injury Reserve. R.I.P. Grogs, by the way, which is an unfortunate event. But yeah, that was my favorite track. I just really like how Aminé kind of honed in on the, you know, like industrial yeah, the industrial hip hop elements that they were going for. And so yeah, I also like the track Compensating in Roots. Very good performances by Young Thug and by Jid. So yeah, and the vinyl here is a smoky green, and it's an Urban Outfitters exclusive. So yeah, pretty nice overall. All right, next one we got Bloom by Beach House, and this is a project from 2012. And surprisingly, these guys are from Baltimore, Maryland. This is pretty close to where I live in the DMV area. But first heard about these guys off of a sample from one of the Weeknd's first mixtapes. I think it was House of Balloons. And it was on the track The Party and the After Party. And they just, he sampled a track from these guys. I forgot which album it was, but it was a really good sample. And yeah, I didn't know it at the time, but it was a Beach House sample. But I had no clue who Beach House was when I first listened to House of Balloons. But yeah, this is like the album that kind of got me into the dream pop genre. And then after this, I listened to 7, which is the next project. But after that, I kind of went into their other previous projects like Depression Cherry and you also have your self-titled, which is where the sample was on the track Master of None. So yeah, that's pretty cool, and I'm glad I got into them. Yeah, my favorite tracks on here, they'd have to be New Year, Troublemaker, and The Hours, and that like hypnotizing guitar on The Hours. It's really nice, and I just like the overall atmosphere that Beach House creates, especially on those tracks. So yeah, it's pretty solid to listen. However, the long gap of silence at the end of Irene, it's like 5 to 6 minutes of silence. It's unnecessary, but it reminds me of Steve Lacy's Apollo 21, where he had a really long gap of silence on one of his last tracks. So that's the only gripe with the project. Other than that, it's pretty cool. This is 7 by Beach House again, and this one's a pretty cool project. I don't like it as much as Bloom. Just showing off the hype stickers there. Sub Pop has some really cool hype stickers, or Beach House in general. And the cover on here is really nice and reflective. Pretty cool what they did there. And this one actually has a gatefold too. We always praise gatefolds when we see them, you know. Yeah, like I said, this is not as favorable to me as Bloom was, but there are some cool tracks on here like Pay No Mind and Lemon Glow and Drunk in LA. They're really cool. I mess with those. And Standard Black 2LP, 33 RPM. Nothing too crazy going on there. But yeah, 7. Next we got Billie Eilish with When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? This is from 2019, and she's from LA, of course. And the first time I heard about her was on her track Lovely with Khaled. One of my favorite tracks that it came out at the time. But yeah, this album kind of blew her last, I think it was EP, Don't Smile at Me, or a mixtape or whatever. But whatever she had released there, she blew away with this project. Definitely one of my favorites from 2019. And I really like what she did with this record. Really fun. And, you know, just shows how close she is with her brother on how they're able to craft this type of project together. And this is on a glow-in-the-dark, like semi-translucent, like lime green or like cream green vinyl. So it's pretty cool. People said that glow-in-the-dark vinyls sound like garbage, but this one sounds fine, to me at least, you know. But yeah, this is a Target exclusive, and favorite tracks on here would have to be Elo Milo, Zanny, and All the Good Girls Go to Hell. So yeah, really liking this one. Alright, we got Paranoid by Black Sabbath here. And this is from 1970, one of my older records. I've got too many of these, but you know, gotta throw it back every now and then. And these guys are from Birmingham, England, which is also a surprise to me. Didn't even know that, but now y'all know too. But first got acquainted with Black Sabbath by like video games and movies. You know, you hear a bunch of their songs in a lot of movies and such. And I played them, a few of their songs in the games like Rock Band. Those are my favorite, one of my favorite types of games, like the rhythm games. So yeah, I played a lot of their stuff on there, and you know, all classic stuff, you know. And this kind of got me into like heavy metal music in a sense. It's not too crazy, and I'm not gonna act like I got a bunch of heavy metal records in my collection, but yeah, this definitely opened the door for that type of style and influence to be into my music listening experience. But yeah, just a standard black vinyl and a 1 LP, and it sounds good. Alright, the next record is going to be Coastal Grooves by Blood Orange. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Blood Orange, and as you're going to see for the next few, I have his whole discography under this name. But for this project in particular, this released in 2011, and he's from England, but he's been based in New York since he, you know, traveled over here. And I first heard about him through his video Charcoal Baby off of Negro Swan. And yeah, definitely fell in love with the video, just the style, and you know, just the what he was trying to represent in that video. I was really fond of it, and so that just led me to check out the rest of his stuff. But yeah, I really like Coastal Grooves. Sounds more like indie rock compared to his more R&B and jazz style of approach with his music. So yeah, it kind of sounds like this is just like live music that he's playing. So that's what kind of attracts me to this record, and I do think other people should give this one a chance, and not just listen to like Negro Swan or whatever. But yeah, there's Coastal Grooves. Alright, next one's going to be Cupid Deluxe. Now, this is probably among my least favorite from his discography, but that doesn't take away from how good this album actually is. I really do like a lot of the tracks on here. There's tracks like Uncle Ace, Always Let You Down, and Chosen. Definitely some of my favorites there. And this is on a standard black, just like the last one, but this is a 2 LP as opposed to 1. And here's some of the inserts here. I really like the pictures that he chooses for this, just to kind of get you more immersed into, like, you know, the whole New York style of things. And then just showing you the insert there with all the song credits and stuff. And I always like when artists use, like, you know, live instruments as opposed to fully synthetic. I mean, either can sound good, but whenever it's done with live instruments, I do like the sound too. Alright, now we got Freetown Sound. Definitely one of my favorites from him. Probably my second favorite next to Negro, Swan. But then this one is released in 2016. And what can I say about this one? I do feel like some of his best tracks reside on this project. And I also think he began to really perfect that New York City soundscape that he was going for. I think he started with that on his last record, Cupid Deluxe, but I think he really got into his bag on this record here. Especially his sample usage, it kind of makes me feel like I'm in the streets of New York at night and experiencing what it has to offer. And he also touches on topics, so, like, you know, blackness and queerness, and how the record was intended for those who feel that they aren't enough, like, as they are already. So I'm glad he touched on topics like that, and just the instrumentation here is great too. Favorite tracks on here would have to be Augustine, EVP, and Best to You. But yeah, this is also on a standard blacks 2 LP, so nothing crazy going on there. Alright, now we got the big boy Negro Swan. This released in 2018. Also one of those that would have been on my top 10 of 2018 when I first heard it, but unfortunately I didn't get around to it until like a year later, I think, around when I first discovered him. But yeah, definitely my favorite Blood Orange record, hands down. He's definitely at his instrumental peak here, I feel like. And the vocal guests and performances on here don't disappoint either. You know, and then the subject matter on a lot of these tracks too is also kind of what he talked about on Freetown Sound, but kind of went more into, like, helping out people who do feel, like, oppressed, and, like, as a black person or even as a queer person. So I think it's always good to touch on those topics, especially for young impressionable black kids who are consuming the music as well. My favorite tracks on here would have to be Jewelry, Charcoal Baby, and Chewing Gum. And I believe Chewing Gum features A$AP Rocky and I think Project Pat, if I'm remembering that correctly. But yeah, those really solid tracks on here. And the last record I have from Blood Orange is his most recent mixtape, Angel's Pulse, and this was released in 2019. And for me, this is definitely a solid mixtape from Dev. Not to be compared to his full-length projects, but I do enjoy a majority of the tracks on here, and I'm really eager to see what he's going to release after this, because I don't think he's dropped any, like, full-length project since, like, 2019, so that's, like, almost 3 years ago at this point. But yeah, I do like the list of features on here. Like, I didn't even know Kelsey Lou, Arca, Joba are featured on here as well, because I kind of discovered them after the fact. But yeah, it's good to have those features on there. Favorite tracks are Dark and Handsome, Benzo, and Gold Teeth. Alright, no more Blood Orange, but we got Trap Soul by Bryson Tiller. This was in 2015, and this dude's from Louisville, Kentucky. And recorded this dude back in high school. A lot of people were bumping him back in the day. But honestly, he kind of grew on me more recently. Earlier in 2021, I had revisited this project, and I think Tiller, he was pretty much in his bag on this project. He does well with his singing overall, and doesn't rap too bad on some of the tracks here, but I prefer him to sing, of course. I'm not a fan of his vocals in a few sections, but I can get past it overall. I'm just showing you some of the inserts here. I really like this picture of him right there. Has a nice vibe to it. And this is also on a standard black, and I like the track Exchange the most on here. Alright, starting off the C's, we got How I Feeling Now by Charli XCX. This is one of those 2020 quarantine projects, and she's from Cambridge, England. And you know, we probably all heard of Charli XCX from her track Boom Clap from Absolute Brick ago. But I recently heard of her like a little bit more recently from Fantano's channel when her project Charli had dropped. So yeah, it was good to get into her at that time. I prefer this project over Charli personally, but Charli does have some really solid tracks on that album. But this is like my fifth favorite from 2020, fifth favorite album, and yeah, it was a pretty good listen overall. This album and another album by Scarlord called Fantasy Void, they were definitely like among my like top few quarantine albums that I was really bumping. Kind of helped me get through the time, you know. I'm sure we all got those projects. But yeah, I really enjoyed listening to them at the time. And my favorite tracks on here have to be Forever, Party For You, and C 2.0 or Click 2.0. Really hard. Here we got Clams, or Clams Casino with Moon Trip Radio. It's from 2019, and the boys from New Jersey. And yeah, you know, cloud rock phenom, you know, makes a lot of spacious, cloudy beats, of course. And it's basically what this project is. I wanted to get instrumentals and one of his other like mixtapes or albums, but I was able to get my hands on this one, and I'm glad that I did. And I like the tracks Rune, NSX, and Glowing Bones on here. Next up is Crystal Castles with their second self-titled project. They're from Ontario, Canada, and I honestly don't remember where I first heard of these dudes. Like, their origin to my ears is kind of an enigma, which is pretty cool as well. But yeah, I really like this project. Make really good electronic music and some of the best stuff I've heard. For me personally, I really like their music. Unfortunately, there's been allegations due to Ethan, one of the bandmates in Crystal Castles, and he has some allegations held against him. So unfortunately, that had the group break up. And Alice Glass had since been replaced, but I'm not sure if that's even the case anymore. But yeah, had to bring that up. And yeah, pretty solid project by them. Getting into the D's, we start off with Daft Punk with Discovery. Really good project. This is a classic. Everybody should know about this at this point, but this was dropped in 2021. Daft Punk's from Paris, France. And first heard about them from, honestly, I think it was from Kanye Stronger. That's when I first got into them, and I'm also a big fan of the rhythm games DJ Hero. Yeah, they're really cool games, and also from YouTube videos, and this group called like Pentatonics. They like did like acapella, and they kind of made a bunch of different songs like using acapella for all the different parts. Like one dude was just like beatboxing, and then another dude was like singing and doing like the bass and stuff, and yeah, a bunch of other singers, and it was pretty cool how everything came together. They did one for like Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, and that was super sick to listen to. But yeah, they're one of my biggest like musical influences. Like my earliest like things I listened to that I really started to mess with was probably Kanye and Daft Punk. So I got to give them props for influencing my music taste there. But yeah, I like the tracks One More Time, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, and Virtus Quo. This is on standard black vinyl as well. Next up, we got Human After All by Daft Punk again. This project was released in 2005. Definitely, as I'm looking at this now, this also reminds me of when I played the rhythm games DJ Hero, and it had one of my favorite songs off there, Human After All. The remix on there is super sick, and it's super sick to play too. And honestly, I'm not sure if it's on streaming services, but if y'all haven't listened to that, y'all check it out. It's pretty cool because I know people have their gripes on how repetitive the album is, but when they remix it in DJ Hero, it sounds a lot more dynamic, and I really like the direction they took with it on there. But yeah, of course my favorite tracks are Human After All, Make Love, and Television Rules the Nation. This is also on standard black vinyl. Getting back into our rap bag, we got You Know What I'm Saying by Danny Brown. This project from 2019. Again, also would have made my list, but didn't listen to it at the time, so here we are. And I first heard of the likes of Danny Brown from my favorite artist at the moment, JPEG Mafia. And yeah, JPEG Mafia gave his props to Danny Brown, of course, because, you know, Danny Brown's been doing this for a while, and unfortunately I haven't gotten a chance to listen to him myself, but yeah, I'm glad I did. And I also had listened to Atrocity Exhibition back in the day, but I don't know, it didn't click with me as much as this project did, but I definitely have to go back to it because I think my ear for listening to music has definitely changed in the short time of like the last 2 years. But yeah, that doesn't take away from how good I feel this project is as well. And just like Danny's, I like his style and how he, what he raps about and such. And my favorite tracks on here: Savage, Nomad, Belly of the Beast, and Dirty Laundry. Yeah, Danny Brown doing his thing. I love it. Now we got one of my first records, Not to Disappear by Daughter. It's from 2016. And I'm not sure where these guys are from at all. But first found these guys when I think I was just exploring music, honestly, when I was studying, when I was at college. And yeah, it's good study music too, but this has kind of got me more into the indie rock or indie folk scene, and also leading the doorway into shoegaze as well. And yeah, I'm glad I got into this because it also kind of helped me expand my taste from mainly hip hop, even though I did listen to other genres. But yeah, it kind of opened the door for me more so. I like the tracks Doing the Right Thing, No Care, and How. And this is also on standard black vinyl, of course. And I don't want to hear no black vinyl slander in the comments. Black vinyl needs some love too. So yeah, Daughter. All right, here we got You're the Snitch by Death Grips. And they're from Sacramento, California. And of course, I heard about these dudes from Fantano. I started with this project, I'm pretty sure. No, I started with No Love Deep Web and then went to the Money Store and then got to this project. And this seemed to be among my favorites at the time. But I did recently revisit the Money Store, and yeah, it's definitely a good listen as well. I was looking at the packaging here. It's just like so random, and they use like yellow text for the inserts here, and this random pictures of like leather, I think. But they do what they do. Favorite tracks on here are Ha Ha Ha, Black Paint, and Linda's in Custody. Solid. Almost getting to the end here, y'all, but another one of my first records to get is Taboo by Denzel Curry. This is probably my favorite from 2018. It used to be Kids See Ghosts, but I had to switch it up because Denzel had a lot more tracks on there, and I really think he needs he deserves his props on this project because he did something special on here. I'm not gonna lie. He's from Carroll City, Florida, as you all should know, and I got to know him through one of my other favorite artists, XXXTentacion. Yeah, I know they had made music together and collabed on some things, but their energy just matches so well. So I just had to give Denzel a listen, after hearing them two together, But yeah, this project features artists like JPEG Mafia, Zilla Kami, and this is on a red slushy vinyl, so it's pretty sick stuff. Now our last one is going to be Unlocked by Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats, and yeah, solid. I think is this a mixtape, EP, album, whatever it is. This is a really good project. Fan of a lot of tracks on here. This is one of my more recent purchases. Shout out to my aunt for getting me this for Christmas. Yes, really sick artwork, as you can see. Mad comic book vibes, but this is on a standard black vinyl. Oh, you peep Kenny in the back. Whoa, Kenny. But yeah, he's pretty cool. Really like his production. He spazzed on Vince Staples' project last year. That was among my favorites of 2021. So yeah, shout out to Kenny for that. But my favorite tracks on here have to be Diet, Take It Back V2, and track 7. Really nice. So yeah, that's about it. That's just going to be part 1 of this video. And so part 2 will come out, and I'll start with the E's, and I'll just go from there. Let me know if y'all like this format, or if you'd rather I just make one large video. But yeah, if you liked it, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll see y'all soon for the next video. Peace.